Everybody, JT the Soccer Scholar here talking about match day 5 for this Thursday edition. It's the Greater Miami Conference. This is the video for the girls. Let's get to it. First, get you caught up from match day 4. Some big score lines from Tuesday. Mason and Lakota West. This was in Comet Country, and the Firebirds pick up another draw, but it is a important 0-0 draw because that is a big matchup between the two. Obviously, the last 2 seasons for the GMC has been decided on who's going to win the conference through this matchup. But 0-0, the final result, so each team taking a point. Meanwhile, Lakota East with a big 3 points on the road with a 3-1 win over Hamilton. Oak Hills 8-0 over Princeton. No issues on the road there for the Highlanders. You got Sycamore 5-0 over Middletown. And then a big result here turns out to be Colerain with a huge 2-1 victory at home. So the Cardinals with a big result. That means, taking a look at our table, big result for Colerain. They are now in sole possession of what would be technically third place. But look at the top, folks. It is Mason and Lakota East tied at 10 points each. They're both 3-0-1 in the conference. And, by the way, there's a little bit more on what's going on between Mason and Lakota East tonight. We'll get to that in a moment. But Mason and Lakota East, both with 10 points. Colerain right behind with 9 points. Sycamore then up there with 8 points after their win. Oak Hills with their win moves up to tie Fairfield, both with 6 points there. Lakota West with another draw means they have 3 points. Princeton with 3 points. Hamilton with 1. And Middletown still looking for their first GMC points. Let's get to tonight's matchups. Big one on the west side of Cincinnati, a rivalry game I've heard. It's Oak Hills hosting Colerain, and this one should be really good between the Highlanders and the Cardinals. Obviously, Highlanders, they got that win. They're moving up. They got 6 points here, but the Cardinals with 9 points looking to try and see what happens. Obviously, if another result and another matchup that we'll get to here in a moment goes a certain way, Colerain could potentially, with a win, move into first place. So the Cardinals are definitely looking to see if they can get things figured out here. Oak Hills, though, obviously, Mine King for Colerain can find the back of the net, but Oak Hills also has plenty of goal scorers themselves. Obviously, Sophia Kersey, Presley Pennencamp, and a whole host of other players know how to score. This one is going to be a really good one. We'll have to see if it's going to turn out to be more of a KG defensive matchup or if it's going to be high goal scoring galore. But I think in the end, reminder of my picks, home side victory, or is it a visitor victory or draw? I'm actually going to go with the way of Oak Hills to get 3 points in this one. I think the Highlanders have had a little bit of a slower start than most expected. I think they're going to start revving it up here as the season goes on, and I think this is going to be a big stepping stone for the Highlanders to jump up further here in the GMC standings. I'll go Oak Hills. Now, Sycamore, Hamilton. This one will be up in Sycamore Township. Hamilton obviously initially had a draw to get their first point against Lakota West, but then against Lakota East, they got beat 3-1. And the Big Blue kind of looking to try and get themselves a little steady throughout this season. Sycamore, however, on the other end, the Aves have been in a really good spot. They got 8 points on the GMC season, and I actually think that they're going to get 3 more here at home. I'm taking the Aves. Fairfield and Middletown. Look, the Indians got edged out by Colerain in a big matchup, 2-1. Obviously, they're looking to bounce back. They'll do it here against Middletown. All 3 points going to the Indians. Lakota West and Princeton. Lakota West, hats off to the Firebirds going into Comet Country and grinding out a 0-0 result. And, still looking for their first victory in the GMC season. They're going to get it right here tonight. I'm going Firebirds for all 3 points. And that brings us to the drum roll, please. The big one I was talking about. Lakota East is hosting Mason tonight. They're both tied with 10 points at the top. This is a dream matchup. Right when both teams hit it to being tied at the top, they're going to play each other to try and settle their differences. I think this one is going to be a really good matchup. Obviously, Mason coming in, we knew that the Comets were going to be good, but Lakota East, a little sneaky to get up to the top. I think we thought some other teams in the area would be the ones challenging the Comets at this point, but I'm actually going to be there. It's a report game for me. I will be there. So make sure you follow me at Chief_Ohio for some sideline results. I'll be tweeting out some results. I'll be trying to get you some video as well. It's going to be a really good one between the Comets and the Thunderhawks. I think in the end, I get the result from the visitors for the victory or the draw. I think the Comets are going to get at least a point in this, but I think Lakota East is going to make it very difficult.